Welcome to Heresy from the Haven in lovely Spokane, Washington. I'm Bob.
I'm Nelson.
Jay and Steven have had some real-world stuff come up that has taken a lot of their time, so they haven't really spent much time looking at 3rd edition, which is our topic for today. We figured we would pop in and throw our, our hat in the circle about what our impressions are of 3rd edition so far. Wow, there has been a lot of opinions on the internet.
Yeah, it's quite a time.
Right.
WhatsApp groups and Discords and stuff are blowing up every morning. It's
a lot of heads on fire, which is pretty interesting. So Nelson and I, Nelson's a newer member to our community and just really a great guy. He's going to be joining us a lot on Heresy, the Haven, from the Haven episodes over the next forever.
Yeah.
But and Jay and Steven will be back as well. But the interesting perspective that Nelson and I have right now from 2 different seats looking at this new edition is I've owned the Gamer's Haven. I've been playing 40K since Rogue Trader. I've owned the Gamer's Haven for 25 years. So not only as a player, avid player, and a game store owner, I've gone through many, many edition changes. And Nelson will be...
Yeah, I'm kind of new to wargaming in general. Got in at the start of 10th for 40K, and then... in the last 6 months, I've gotten into Horus Heresy, so this is kind of like my first time experiencing a new like edition changeover. So
my sweet summer child.
Yeah, I'm excited though.
Fun note, maybe this actually is Steven. Nelson, what army do you play?
Alpha Legion.
That's right.
Yep. Yeah,
always the Alpha Legion.
Yep. Me and like 7 million other people around here.
Yep, they are. You guys are all Alpharius.
Yes, we are.
I'm way too angry to be Alpharius. Well, we had a bunch of notes that we were going to go off of for this episode, but a big thing released on the internet yesterday, and now most things have been visible. So we're going to kind of fly off the cuff, go from the seat of our pants here, I guess, when we're talking about this. One of the big things I want to talk about, though, to start off with, is edition changes. Mm-hmm. And one of the things I've seen over the years, one thing to keep in mind when you're reading all these naysayers and all these negative people online, it is such a small part of the community. It is really, really not the majority. It's just the silent or the loud minority, right? I don't know if I've been through an edition change where people didn't freak out.
Yeah.
I mean, you look at the popularity of Age of Sigmar right now, and when they said they were ending Old World, there were YouTube videos of people literally burning their armies. Yeah. Like, it was, people were just going crazy about it. And I've always had this interesting perspective, and this very much, it sounds like it could be from the game store owner. Oh boy, I get to sell a whole bunch of new stuff, but it's not. This is as a gamer. I really love new editions when they come out because I have played, for example, my World Eaters in 2nd edition. I've got hundreds of games in with them, hundreds. Mm-hmm. So now, and I love these models. I put so much time and passion into these models, and I've got little stories, and I get to now take my cool new toys and play them in a completely different way.
Yeah.
For the cost of a couple of video games, if you're just picking up the books, I get like a whole new experience with the models I already love. And a lot of people don't look at it that way. They look at it as like, oh, I modeled this way, and I modeled this way, and maybe I can't use this anymore. It's not that hard to go back and change a few things if you really want to. Like we'll talk about this later. Yeah. I've got my Devourer of my Red Butchers has got a Thunderhammer in his hand. Yeah. He can't have Thunderhammers anymore, supposedly, allegedly. So I got to cut that arm off and paint up a chain fist and put it in his hand. It's fine.
The big thing is like, you can't bring Thunderhammers anymore, but are Thunderhammers even really what you want to be bringing in this edition?
Yeah,
right?
Exactly.
Like that's kind of the big thing for me. Again, I'm kind of coming from a, inexperienced or privileged position here because, I have 6 months investment in this game system. And from what I've read of the leaks,
a lot done in 6 months.
I have. Yeah. But Alpha Legion also, Lernian Terminators still taking all that stuff. But I have like my Mordathans, right? They can't take Combi Volkite anymore.
It's always one of my favorite things when they change editions is you can always tell maybe some of the grumpiest people are the ones that built their units to be the most optimized. Yeah. And then the ones who didn't, who are taking units that aren't so great, all of a sudden sometimes the new edition, that unit comes out and it's awesome.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden the people that are irritated because they optimize their units, and all those optimized units aren't any good, but the ones that were more fluffy narrative units, all of a sudden, like learning Terminators all of a
Yep.
sudden are looking pretty solid. But
Yeah.
but back before we get too deep into that, the thing to keep in mind with a new edition is they've addressed so far some of the stuff I've seen that they've addressed it's been fantastic and it's been needed.
Yes.
Right? Second edition wasn't very good at updating rules, giving us errata, giving us FAQs, but it feels like they addressed almost everything that we've seen so far in this new edition, like what a lot of the problems were. And
Las cannons, dreadnoughts.
Absolutely. Yep. And it's how many times I got so tired being at a big event watching somebody roll like 15 2+s on their sergeant in a squad. So be positive about it. Like, don't judge yourself. Don't judge this game until you get a dozen or so games in. And if you still don't like it at that point, then sure, join that camp of we're going to keep playing second edition. But as a game store owner and game store owners across the world, as well as Games Workshop, we're going to be promoting the third edition community. So if you want to keep playing this game with a community that's going to grow, there's no question this community is going to grow even more now. It's third edition.
Yeah.
If you're going to be a holdout and play, second edition D&D, you're not going to find groups that often that are playing second edition D&D, right? You're not going to find as many people that are playing first or second edition Horus Heresy. The community is going to grow and all the big events are going to stay with third edition.
Yeah.
And there's only one thing that we're about to get there that I don't like about third edition, but it's a small thing. But we'll get there. But I mean, new edition changes. Don't be afraid.
Yeah, it's hard. We don't have context for anything really right now, right? We're looking at half the picture and trying to make a decision on the entire thing.
Yeah, and also, how are these units interacting? How is with this game system the way it's going to work now? How are your learning Terminators going to interact with my rampages?
Yeah.
Like how until you start playing games with the missions and not just reading and trying to theorize. Oh, this sucks now. This is terrible now. You're looking at this little one unit that used to be able to do this with, and you can't do this with it anymore. Yeah, but what's its role on the tabletop against specific armies in specific missions? We don't know. Yeah, we don't know. We can theorize as much as we want. But like I said, everything I've seen so far, except for one, I've been pretty stoked about. The new Force org chart.
Awesome. Great. Yep.
Love it. Yeah. The focus on the challenges, I think, is really, really cool. Really forces that narrative side.
The way initiative modifiers and stuff works, right? Because so often in second edition, it was like, okay, what's hitting on 5s, what's hitting, at initiative 4, and what's hitting at 1, right? And that's it.
And then the pile-in moves, the way it worked at different initiatives, and how you could block yourself out with initiative 1 units if you have. It's an exciting new experience, and I think everybody should try to look at it that way. Like it's just a brand new way to play with your favorite toy soldiers. Yeah. And I think that's awesome. What do you want to talk about next?
So I mean, some other things I'm kind of excited about for this new edition. We talked about, challenges, gambits and stuff. A meta change in general, I feel like was definitely needed. And I'm, looking forward to finding, again, I play 30K more for the narrative side. I win or I lose more games than I win for sure.
Oh, yeah.
But I'm still looking to find some,
Nelson's
kind of cool
Alpha Legion list is one of the fluffiest Alpha Legion lists I've ever seen. Like he wasn't doing any of the shenanigans stuff that a lot of players do. He wasn't deep striking, 9 dreadnoughts. He wasn't doing any of that kind of stuff.
It was almost more of a Raven Guard list than Alpha Legion sometimes with Mobius configuration.
And that Saboteur.
Yeah.
Saboteur, I hunt him every chance I get.
Which that guy, he's still going to be kicking around.
I'm still going to hunt him too.
Yeah. So, also for your World Eaters line, the changes to objectives and scoring objectives.
I haven't read it that much, honestly.
So it's kind of a little bit different line now. Instead of, as I understand it, again, most of the rules are leaks and stuff that I've read. But So as I understand it, anything can basically most anything can score an objective. If you have line, it adds to the victory points that you score.
So if it's line 2, instead of scoring 1 for the objective, you're scoring 3 for the objective now.
But there's new things like Vanguard. So if another unit fights a unit off of an objective, right? So if your Rampagers fight my, attack squad off of an objective, you'll score victory points up to the Vanguard that you have for that. So if you have
Yeah.
Vanguard 3, you're scoring 3 victory points on that.
For knocking somebody out, which
Yep.
for a close combat army, charging into
Yeah.
somebody that's sitting on an objective, wiping them out, and I score the points.
Huge.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah. So it's no longer going to be me just like, okay, I just need to kill that tech squad and, that assault, squad, and then you're done for the game.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
That was always a problem because it really did limit the fluffiness. It's I can't imagine as a games designer trying to keep a balance of fluffy and gameplay.
Yeah.
Right? Like in theory, my world eaters, well, I mean, I should have a bunch of rampagers and ravening madmen and all these different, but actually no, I have to take a bunch of these line units, which kind of limits to how I build a narrative list or a fluffy list. My Iron Warrior armored spearhead.
Oh yeah.
I mean, I want to take all tanks. Then I realized, oh wait, the tanks don't have line.
Yeah.
Like I actually have to take tactical squads and rhinos.
Yeah.
So now, having the ability to do different things with that, I'm hoping to see when we start seeing more and more expansions coming out and more rules coming out, that this armored spearhead is viable.
Yeah.
You can actually still do it.
Yeah. It seems like, especially, going into how detachments work, the flexibility for list building is better than ever.
Yeah, it looks like it. Everything I've seen so far on that. Nelson's read a lot more of the leaks and such that I have, so I'm speaking more as the old man who's like, I'll just wait until it all comes out. I'll figure it out at that time.
Yeah.
The one thing that I was bummed about, but you have to kind of take it from the point of view of a business, right? One of my favorite things about Horus Heresy that really kind of pulled me away from 40K was the ability to really go crazy on customizing models, having a lot of those different options. And Games Workshop, I could do a whole episode on this, the Chapter House lawsuit from years ago. And when they realized that their IP was too loose. And that's right when 40K made the big change to any war gear a unit can take is on the sprue.
Yeah.
Right. If it's something that a third party company can make and replace it, then that option's there. So them making it so for example, my Devourer and my Red Butchers doesn't have a bunch of options anymore. The model comes from Forge World with dual chain fists, and I can either have them with the 2 axes or upgrade them to have the dual chain fists.
Yeah.
And that's it. So there are some units, but what's crazy is your Learning Terminators, it looks like, have all the options.
Yep, Learning Terminators, so just Aaron.
Maybe what that indicates is that's going to be with the rumor that there are going to be Legion-specific boxes coming out.
Yeah.
Maybe that's going to be one of the first ones, and all those options are going to be in there, and that's why on the plastic sprue, and that's why you have all those options, where the Devourers don't or the Red Butchers don't. I don't know. Time will tell. But that's the only thing that's got me like, oh man, I really like heavily converting these weird combinations of models. So putting everything into a box where they have less options in some of the units, especially the characters, kind of bums me out. But on the flip side of that, the way this edition is looking, where you need to have more characters, means I get to build a bunch of new characters, which is my favorite thing to do.
Yeah.
So I can name my little guy and have him customize and bit swapping and kit bashing and making these characters. Well, now if I'm going to be running 4, 5, 6 different characters in my army, that gives me more options to build some custom characters, because most of those characters still have a lot of options available to them. But again, time will tell.
Yeah, and a lot of like the basic units and stuff still have a lot of options too. So I've heard people saying like, oh, it's like 10th edition, and it's not nearly that bad.
No, not even close. Not even close. And I think that with expansion books coming out in the future, we're going to see a lot of units coming out that do have more flexibility, especially if I'm right, and that's why they did what they did, is to start cutting out third-party companies who are making bits and options that they don't make. Like, how hard was it to find some weapons for conversions in 2nd edition?
Not hard at all.
I thought it was super hard.
Well, not hard at all if you're looking at Etsy.
Right, or looking at Etsy or 3D printers or, anybody like that.
No, I mean, my Mordathan, I took Combi Volkites. A little sad to see those go, but it was kind of needed. Mordathan in 2nd edition were gross.
Oh, Combi Volkite.
But, I mean, I made those Combi Volkites myself, right? I took, the Forge World Volkite Culvers and then the bolters from, like, the old Mark IV kits and, like, cut them and, attach them and everything. So... I had to, like, to your point, I had to make those custom myself.
Yeah. I've got a box somewhere. I've got about 10,000 points of Black Legion for 40K that I started playing about 4th or 5th edition. I have a box somewhere of fully painted weapons and guns, close combat weapons, arms that I've had to cut off and change after each edition.
Yeah.
And it's kind of nice when I go back and I'm like, okay, I need a power axe. Hey, look, there's one already painted up.
It's
I
already
just got to
painted.
cut the wrist
Yeah.
and glue this on, and it's good to go, right?
Yep.
So it's just part of it. You know, the game expands, the game grows. Just like I said, keep in mind, it's a silent minority that's heads are on fire. Like and maybe I'm gonna get a bunch of hate for that, but I'm the graybeard. I've been doing this for so dang long from two perspectives. It's going to be fine, and it's going to be a great addition. It really is.
Yeah. What are some of the changes that you're happy about them making?
Well, my favorite is a unit can only react once per turn.
Oh yeah, huge.
That's amazing. Like having a las cannon squad fire at me 3 times in my turn is like, come on, these barrels are melting at this point. Like, there's no way that is a big one. I think that the deep strike was probably the change to deep strike with only one unit being able to deep strike and not being able to assault out of deep strike it's a pretty big change. But looking at this tug of war they had between augury scanners and deep striking units back and forth, this was probably the best way to handle it. But then they gave us assaulting out of rhinos. And as a veteran of so long ago, and the rhino rush was a thing, it's pretty cool. I think transports are going to become really important in this game, because when you move up and disembark so you get close enough, then you do your setup move, and then the 2d6 pick the highest for the charge. There was when I first read that, I'm like, oh my gosh, I started doing the math on that. I'm like, tactical squads and despoilers and whatnot can't charge very far. But if I can run up and jump out of the vehicle and be that close to somebody and then do that process, and then the rumor that, you know, we're already seeing it in some of the different leaks that different units have bonuses to their setup charge to get them even closer.
Space Wolves, right?
Right. The Overwatch for assault armies, like it. I keep seeing a lot of people saying it's a shooty addition, but I don't think they're seeing the big picture. The fact that Overwatch can only be triggered as a reaction once you can do I can't remember the name for it, the shooting back and forth, but they're only assault weapons, they're only snap firing. Yeah. That's kind of a big deal. Now, assault units are getting into close combat without losing half the squad if you're assaulting in something with a heavy weapon or something like that, unless they spend that 1 point. And now you tactically have to set up a multi-charge. So sure, I'm going to charge these guys first, wipe them out, and then my dreadnought's going to get in there and start wiping them out, right? Yeah.
Yeah, I'm excited to the Red War that I took, Headhunter Leviathal, meant that vehicles had to start at turn 2. So now that's
on the table in reserve.
So now that that's gone, I'm excited to paint up some rhinos and actually make my Alpha Legion a little bit faster. Yeah, because before I had no vehicles. So
how about you? What are some of the things that you like the best?
Yeah, I think so instant death, as we know it, is gone. And so in like the way that they're kind of changing things to be, you know, weapons have damage built into their profiles, right? And how that's going to affect, stuff like vehicles, or like Saturnine Terminators having 3 wounds. Sure. I'm really excited to see how that kind of this edition feels a little less killy, at least from the rules that I've read overall.
A couple of weapons, like I'm used to Gorechild on Karn, and I go and I look at it now, and I'm like, oh wow, that's a lot less killy. But again, I can't be my head's on fire. Oh, Gorechild got nerfed. Everything got nerfed. Yeah. It's an overall, everything, you got to keep the overall picture going. Of
breaching and stuff changes. Right. Everything's usually now like breaching 6 if it's breaching. Right. So, I'm excited for that. I mean, one of the kind of, as a new player, one of the most feel bad moments in games is super swingy turns, right? Where I have like our last game, turn 2, half my army is kind of just gone, right? Because Thunderhammer is just instant killing everything. Right. So I'm kind of happy to have that dialed back a little bit.
Yeah. Yeah, it doesn't seem like there's as much of a, I always use the term strategy-wise, like a coiled snake. Like as a person who plays close combat armies a lot, I like coil, and then strike. Yeah. And when I strike, half your army's gone. And it doesn't feel like that's a thing anymore. It doesn't feel like there's such a tactical advantage to having an overwhelming strike all at once. There still will be, of course. Yeah. But if it's not going to feel bad as bad because I'm not going to be hitting you and wiping out all your stuff as much. I'll be doing damage.
There's more back and forth.
Way more back and forth. Yep. Yeah.
Yeah. So I'm really excited for that. It seems like the way that they're changing Rite of Wars, because Rite of Wars are a little bit different now. It's like it includes your Legion Tactica,
Mm-hmm.
your Gambit,
Right.
and then your reaction, and also like some detachment stuff.
Right.
So I'm happy that they're kind of changing some of that up, and it seems like at least the ones that I've read for Alpha Legion all seem useful in some capacity. Whereas like last edition, one of the rights of war for Alpha Legion was the Coils of the Hydra that let you take 3 different rewards of treachery units,
Mm-hmm.
but it had to be 3 of the same unit,
Right.
right? So that one was pretty much just like not useful.
As a World Eater player, there were 2 rights of war. No, there wasn't. There was one
Yeah.
right of war.
Yep.
The one was so bad that nobody ever took it,
Yeah.
and the other one is so good, it's the no-brainer. And now the glancing over some of the leaks on them that I've seen, if they're accurate, every one of them has a use.
Yeah.
And they really, like, if I want to build my heavy assault army, I'm going to use this one. If I'm going to build a more tank company, I'm going to use this one. If I'm going to use, like, there's
Yeah.
different rights of war built in,
And the way they're building that kind of into detachments and stuff to steer your army creation,
right.
seems like a good system.
Yeah. I'm very curious to see also when it comes to the fact that there's going to be so many challenges happening across the
Yeah.
table, especially as a person who plays World Eaters and have a lot of close combats going
Yeah.
on, how much time that takes. That was the
Yeah.
only thing I was kind of nervous about as a TO who runs big events, and the push to try to go to a 4-turn game versus a 5-turn game. In second edition, I didn't like 4-turn games. 4-turn games for me as a person who's got to get there, especially if I'm playing against more of a gun line and they're
Yeah.
scoring victory points right away for wiping out units, and I have to get there to start scoring. And by the time I'm getting there, it's turn 3, and I don't have as much time to catch up. But the way victory points work differently now, 4-turn games may be better in this edition,
Yeah.
because if we're working out 3-4 challenges per turn, I was a little afraid, if it's a 3-hour game and a 3,000 point game, is that going to bog the game down a whole bunch?
Yeah.
And we won't have the answer until
Yeah,
we start playing
we'll
games.
see. Yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
I definitely think the challenges and everything are going to lead to more kind of like epic moments.
Oh yeah.
And that builds more into the narrative side of the game, which is, a big attraction for me.
Yeah. And the fact that, like we were talking about earlier,
Yeah.
when you're getting into these challenges and weapons actually have a plus or a minus to the initiative,
Yeah.
and then you play the gambit. So,
Yep.
I mean, my power fist might actually, if I roll a 6, you roll a 1, my power fist may go before your, spear that's used to have reach 1, that's
Yeah.
initiative 5. It's the swingy flexibility of that, I think, is really, really cool, and does build up some cool narrative moments.
Yeah, it's gonna be a lot of fun.
Yeah.
Yep.
What else you got in your notes? Anything else we want to talk about?
Let's talk a little bit about the box. Anything in it that you're...
So I approach army building pretty differently in Horus Heresy. My goal is to, in second edition, which is funny because I had to pump the brakes hard on 2 armies I'm building right now. My World Eaters is going to be the army that I just keep adding and adding and adding.
Yeah.
But my goal was, okay, I'm going to build a 3,000 point Armored Spearhead, Iron Warriors. I'm going to build a 3,000 point Siege Company, Siege of Terra, Death Guard, and I was planning on a 3,000 point Blood Angels all flyer army.
Yeah.
That just comes in, swooping in. So I plan armies based on a certain point set, because once we actually start our battle reports back up again, let's say, hey, let's take the 3,000 point Armored Spearhead against the 3,000 point Siege Army, right? And I have these set armies that I don't add to.
Yeah.
So the box itself for me right now isn't super exciting, because I don't have any plans for Saturnine anything. I think the models are great.
Yeah.
There's been a lot of buzz about that too. And look, GW retcon stuff, it just happens, right? It happens on a regular basis. Don't get me started on the Necrons. So the Saturnine lost technology that Vulcan then reforged and is feeding back in. It's whatever. They came up with a cool story arc to bring some really badass old models back into the game. And I personally don't have any plans for any of them right now, so I myself am getting all the books.
Yeah.
And so I do have plans for Mark II, but I'm going to hold off on the box for now, just because don't have any plans for the Sentry gun. I don't have, or whatever the big gun is, the gun emplacement. I don't have any plans for any of the Saturnine stuff, so I'm probably going to hold off for now. But there will be an army, and it'll probably end up being Salamander army.
Yep.
That will be, it might actually be the first time I actually have to do a Loyalist army, because I just can't see myself doing Traitor Salamanders. But yeah, doing a bunch of Saturnine. I think the models are great. I can't wait to finally get into them when the plan gets there.
Yeah.
You?
Yeah, I'm excited for the box. Mark II is not what you typically think of when you think of Alpha Legion, but I think that adds to some like uniqueness for my army. So I'm gonna kind of create a new 3,000 point list using as much of the box as I can. Really excited for the Dreadnought. Those giant shoulder pads. Yeah, I mean the like freehand and kind of cool transfers that you can do on those shoulder pads
Yeah.
are really exciting for me. The Praetors, both the Saturnine and the regular Power Armor one, look like fantastic. I'm sure I'll find a use for them. Yeah, no, I'm excited to build a list out of that box. And the disintegrator weapons that they're kind of like pushing a lot on this edition are really exciting for me. On the Terminators, you can run, 2 disintegrator weapons, and if they're standing still, you can fire both of them. So it's 4 shots. There is a chance that you kill yourself. I think.
I haven't seen this. Is Gets Hot similar? Does it work kind of the same way it did in second
So,
edition?
so the way that Overload works is that so they're Overload 2. So that's on a roll of hit to 2, you're going to be targeting your own unit.
So 1 or 2, obviously.
1 or 2, yeah. So I think I did the math. If you have 6 or you have 3 Saturnine Terminators, each equipped with double disintegrators, the math says that for 12 shots, because 4 shots per, you're rolling 4 1s and 2s.
And
Which
they're damaged too.
they're damaged too, so you're going to be wounding yourself, like because you still
roll
roll.
wound?
Yeah, you still roll
it.
the wound and everything. So you're going to be wounding on like 2.6, and then an involved save, saving like 1 or 2 of those. So like the math says, firing all out, you're likely to kill, or you're likely to do 1 to 3 wounds at 2 damage apiece, which kills 1 to, if you have really bad luck, 2 guys. But it does 8 wounds, right? Like, to your enemy.
Right.
And if you're firing into something like, if you're firing into power armor, it's just evaporating them.
Yeah. That's where a lot of weapons, obviously you don't want to shoot them into other Saturnine.
Yeah.
You want to shoot them into... Now, support squads running disintegrators, I feel like they're going to be popping their own heads.
So that's the new, at least according to the leaks, the veterans, right? So you're going to have you can run a veteran squad running disintegrators. I think they're ballistic skill 5.
Okay.
So I think that's for sure 1 unit that I'll probably have in my list. Yeah, the disintegrator weapons on everything just seem so fun. I don't know how like good they're going to be, because again, you gotta weigh that risk reward of killing your own guys.
Points wise, they're probably pretty heavy too.
Yeah, for sure. But I think they're going to be a lot of fun. They look great. They're going to be fun to paint up. And there is some kind of lore. Like I think they had a Warcom article the other day that showed like Rogue Trader, that Mark 6 guy with the disintegrator rifle.
Yeah. I've got them sitting in a box right over there. Yeah. And then when they did their 20th anniversary, one of their anniversaries, they actually remade him in plastic. He's all kind of hunched over. He's got the combi disintegrator thing going on.
So that's a bit of like neat bit of history for it. Yeah.
Yeah, it's being in a narrative game, trying to figure out the new narrative. I'm probably not going to dip into any of my other army projects I have going right now and just play a bunch of games with my world eaters and just kind of figure out how they work. I'm real stoked I wasn't one of the guys. I looked at the leak on the cadre weapons. And seeing that
for the Rampagers.
Yes, thank you for the Rampagers. That I didn't equip 10-man squads of Phalanx Blades. I'm like, no, I need a couple Meteor Hammers, a couple Flesh Blades, a couple Eviscerator Axes. Now, to be fair, those are the guys that died first because the Phalanx Blades were so good. But I went and looked and saw, okay, so Phalanx Blades aren't nearly as powerful as they were, but everything else got better.
Yep.
So now I'm pretty stoked that I didn't. I know people that did like 10-man squads of just all Phalanx Blades, and like, well, now my Meteor Hammers are cool, and my Flesh Hooks are cool, and my Eviscerator Axes are cool. Yeah, it's I can't wait. I can't wait to actually get my hands on it and play some games with my world leaders and just see how it works out. Yep. Should be fun.
Should be.
What else you got?
Well, I think we kind of talked about everything loosely.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm really excited for at the start of the edition. The shop is doing a league.
Yep, we're going to be doing a slow grow league the week after release starts, and we're going to slow grow up to 3,000 points. We're going to have a party on the 26th where I'm going to bring in a whole bunch of pizza and whether it's boxing and building models or reading over
Yep.
rules, people maybe trying to play some games on the 26th. So we'll probably make another episode after that and kind of chime in and see how that went. Go ahead.
And then we have next week in Tacoma.
Oh,
the last hurrah for 2.0.
Right. You and I are both going to the Tacoma Open. I don't know. That might just be you and I playing each other. I'm not sure how many other people signed up, because a lot of people in the Pacific Northwest I talked to, they're like, nah, we're not playing.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh, is anybody playing Horus Heresy there? Like, is it just me, Nelson, and I? They didn't release the player packet. And I finally sent an email to the head of GW North America, and I was like, hey, is there a player pack? It was only a few weeks ago. And then I found out the 40K players, all of us all got the player pack at the same time.
Yeah.
So I think I might have spurred them a little bit.
Yeah.
Most other people probably don't need it, but we do. Because I don't know how many points it was. I didn't know any restrictions. Yeah, I didn't know. And there's no restrictions.
Yeah, no.
So I am so stoked to be able to bring Karn one more time with Gorechild and watch him just walk through squads like he does. Or again, maybe it's just going to be your squads, but I don't know. Yeah. So we'll chime in after that as well and see how that goes. Anybody who has watched any of our other podcasts, I've always talked about that. If you notice, we're still sitting in the workshop. The studio is actually going to be starting in about a week to 2 weeks. So soon we will be in the actual studio, and you're going to see a lot more content coming out from us. Nelson will be joining, Stephen and Jay, when they get a chance. Other locals in our community are going to be joining as well and talking about different things. We can get maybe Wyatt and Brady and talk about their Night Lords for long periods of time.
Yes.
So, if nothing else, should we sign out?
Yeah, sounds good.
All right, guys.
Okay.
Appreciate it. Like, follow, do whatever, all the things that you're supposed to do if you like our content, and expect a lot more from us. And thanks for joining us. Let's get ready for 3rd edition.
Yep.
Awesome. Thanks,
See you guys.